Hu Tao and Alhaitham. These two have been talked about non-stop through this patch duration, and it's only going to get more and more frequent and louder as time goes on. And most of it is because of, they're fighting for the same role, and a lot of people have been waiting for Hu Tao but see Alhaitham as the shiny new toy. Basically, there's a lot of discussion of people talking about Hu Tao is better, you shouldn't really spend on Alhaitham, and then you should spend on Alhaitham, Hu Tao is overrated. So what we're going to be doing today is talking about the two, because little did you know, these two carry a lot of similarities that you might not even expect, and we're going to be discussing these similarities and what compares them and what are their differences in this video here. Now, of course, one thing I do want to know is that this is your Genshin account. No matter what I say, no matter what I advise, no matter what I caution you to do, this is your account. You spend your primos how you want. You spend and work on your account how you want. If you like Alhaitham more, go ahead and summon for Alhaitham. If you like Hu Tao more, go ahead and summon on Hu Tao. Because no matter what, this is your account that you're playing with, not anyone else's account, and no one else controls your account. So I do want to exclaim, no matter what information I give, no matter what advice I give, no matter what critiques I give, this is your account. You spend on it how you want and you work on it how you want. Alright, let's go ahead and talk about Hu Tao. Now, Hu Tao is one of the more older characters in the game. She is one of the most popular characters in the game. So a lot of the things regarding her weapons, her artifacts, her constellations, her talents, all that type of stuff is already out on YouTube somewhere for you to watch. I will be making a dummies guide for her eventually when it gets closer to her banner. But talking about Hu Tao, let's talk about her main gimmick, the main way she is used, and that is her hydro units and her shielder. Now, Hu Tao needs to stay low health, and yes, before everyone starts bringing up their pitchforks, because I already know the title got you mad, so chill out for a second. Yes, I know I say she has to be low health and you have to bring a shielder, and you're like, oh no, you don't have to bring a shielder. Oh no, she just doesn't have to stay at 2 health. Yes, I know she doesn't have to stay at 2 health, but she does have to stay under, I think, 50% health to be able to get her damage boost. And with that, staying under 50%, and you're repeatedly using the skill over an abyss chamber, over overworld without having to go eat food or go to the statue of the 7, you're gonna be basically at 100 health at all times almost, especially it's popping that skill over and over again and not really using her burst for a lot of situations, because I don't know, there's just not really a good reason to use her burst unless you want to heal up by a good amount, and you're just going to throw it right back down when it comes to having her health being depleted by her skill. Remember, when I'm talking about her burst not being, I guess you could say, useful, I'm talking in the context of there being, her main function using a charge attack. You're not going to be using your burst every single time it's up. You're going to be using it when her skill is almost up, or when you have a certain setup on a team that's going to end up helping that burst hit for a lot more. More along the video, we're talking about her charge attacks being the main DPS function, because that is what she uses as her main source of DPS. So yes, you are going to have to run a shield, and you are going to have her low health. This is a risk, of course, to be able to have her at low health, because there's a chance that she can get knocked out and your main DPS is gone basically. Another issue is that she has to have her teammates burst up, so that means Xiao and Yelan, these two characters must have their burst up at all times 24/7, so that Hu Tao is able to vape these off of her skill. Now, not only do you have to worry about her skill cooldown, you have to worry about Xiao's burst cooldown, his skill cooldown to recharge his burst, Yelan's skill cooldown, and especially if you don't have C1, Yelan is going to be a little bit more difficult to be able to get her burst up with just one skill, and then her burst up as well. So you have to be mindful of the cooldowns for them. You have to be mindful of Hu Tao's cooldowns, and basically make sure all of the timers are lined up so that when you use them all, you're able to put in massive damage, which that's pretty much mostly the case. Now, the big issue with Hu Tao, the really big issue with Hu Tao, is that when you're using Hu Tao C0, and I'm pretty sure once I said that, you already know what I'm about to say, C0 Hu Tao suffers from major stamina issues. Now, this comes from her having to chase enemies when it comes to, AoE or something like that. Her having to dash cancel her animation so that you're able to get some more DPS in. Yes, you can learn the alternative jump cancel to be able to save stamina, but nonetheless, you're still gonna have to run towards the enemy. You're still gonna have to charge attack the enemy, which costs a lot of stamina, and eventually you're gonna have your stamina depleted. Now, once your stamina depletes, guess what? So you're gonna be there like a sitting duck, waiting for her stamina to come back so that you can charge attack. So you're gonna have to switch to other characters, do their skills, do their burst so that, you know, you can get a little bit of stamina back, and then you're gonna have to keep doing the same thing over and over again, and eventually you're just gonna be running out of stamina, not being able to hit. And it severely is, I guess you could say, unfun to play when you see your stamina go down. You're just walking around waiting for your stamina bar to come back up to a decent amount for you to start doing damage, and you use all of their bursts and have Hu Tao's skill up. Yes, it's annoying, and with C1 it dramatically, and I mean dramatically, changes how Hu Tao feels. If you want a smooth gameplay, a smooth experience with Hu Tao, you are definitely going to want to invest in C1 over Staff of Homa. Basically, C1 changes her gameplay by so much you have no idea. She has no stamina spent during her skill when it comes to charge attacks, and that's a big stamina I guess you could say booster, I guess you could say, not having to consume stamina during charge attacks, because you get to put in more charge attacks. This makes more DPS happen, it makes more big numbers happen. Is overall such a better playstyle when you finally have C1, and it helps so much regarding her stamina issues. Now, this is not to say Alhaitham doesn't have stamina issues, but we're going to be talking about him very soon. Another thing that Hu Tao has is that she can only basically rely on one element. Yes, cryo is something that, you know, pyro can use, but it is very, I guess you could say, hard to keep constant cryo application without certain niche teams like having Ayaka's burst up and using Hu Tao's skill and vaping between the bursts. That's, I guess you could say, very whaley, very premium. Not a lot of people can do that. She can only really react with Hydro. That's pretty much it. She has Xingqiu's ult and Yelan's ult, and that's pretty much it. You can't use anything regarding Electro. Dendro doesn't help that much. It's just overall she's just a one-trick pony. But there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with Hu Tao in any regards. I do love her as a character. But yes, she is a one-trick pony. She vapes with Hydro, and that's pretty much it. And that goes for a lot of other characters too. But she is basically stuck to her one playstyle, which is Hydro, Pyro, and a shielder. And there's nothing wrong with that. Like I said, if you love Hu Tao, go ahead, go for her. And if you still love Hu Tao and you have her, keep loving her, because I love her as well. But other than that, let's stick to, or go to, Alhaitham and his issues and his type of kit. Now, Alhaitham, besides, you know, Hu Tao is a really good single target DPS. She is a boss melter. But how Alhaitham, I guess you could say, he's the best of both worlds. He is a boss melter. He is also a AoE unit. That's a big up he has over Hu Tao. And no, I'm not going to be just screaming praises over Alhaitham and all his pros versus all the things I just listed for Hu Tao's cons. But I'm going to be listing the things that Alhaitham has that, I guess you say, significantly go over what Hu Tao can. Which is, Hu Tao is single target most of the time. You are not going to be doing AoE really with Hu Tao. Yes, she does have her burst. And he heals her, but you are not really using that as her main DPS function, because charge attacks are her playstyle. Alhaitham innately during his E does projections that have big AoE radius. They have a big swipe, a big vertical line, and you're doing some massive numbers, and that's the majority of his damage coming from there, actually. So him having AoE as a part of his kit, and he's also a charge attack / normal attack unit, he's very similar to Hu Tao. And not only with that, since Alhaitham is Dendro, which Dendro is one of the more fun elements in the game, and this is not his pro that it's just fun, no. But Dendro can react with so much. Dendro has Hydro, which makes Dendro Course. Dendro has Electro, which does Quicken. Dendro has Pyro, which does Burning. And none of these negatively affect Alhaitham, because unlike Pyro and Electro with like Hu Tao and, let's say, Raiden or something like that, that's going to end up pushing the enemy away. Guess what that means? More stamina spent chasing down the enemy. Alhaitham doesn't really have that, you know, problem. When he does a charge attack, just like Hu Tao, yes, it's going to push certain enemies back, but that's for both of them. So not only does Alhaitham have AoE, he also has more coverage over different elements. Now, yes, Electro is his best in use reaction, because it does make Quicken. But you can't say like, oh, Alhaitham only can work with real Quicken, but you know, Hu Tao can only work with Hydro basically. So there is that. They both have their stamina issues. Alhaitham not as much, because he doesn't have to only charge attack. His normal attacks help him get his projections out, so it lets him save a little bit of stamina in between fights. Other than that, you do have a similar built option between both of them basically. Alhaitham and Hu Tao have a lot in comparison. If you didn't notice or not, they both have almost the same stats in what you want to care about almost. Alhaitham and Hu Tao both need high crit rate, high crit damage to get those numbers out consistently, and they both need to stack on EM, and Hu Tao needs EM to make those vape numbers go higher, and Alhaitham needs EM to make his quicken reactions go higher. So they both are similarly built, pretty much the same way. Hu Tao scales more off of HP, so she has more HP for her sands, and then Alhaitham needs more EM because he has EM scaling in his talent, so he used the EM sands. So a little bit of a difference there. But you're basically building them more around, basically the same thing, building them around their reactions, not really about their solo capability. Yes, I love these characters both the same, but the experience you get with Alhaitham C0 isn't nearly as bad as Hu Tao C0. Now the thing is, I haven't played with Hu Tao C0 for that long because I got C1 shortly after getting her. Because yes, I did enjoy playing with Hu Tao, but I wanted to make it as fun as possible, so I went ahead and get C1. I just think that Hu Tao right now, although I'm not saying throw Alhaitham up in tier 0, throw down Hu Tao to tier 1, but I do want to say that they're both around the same tier 0. They both are boss melters. Hu Tao might have a slight advantage in that, and I mean slight, but his AoE does come in clutch. He's able to react with a lot of different reactions, especially because he is the brand new element. He can react with basically every element that you need. He has some crazy teams, a lot of variety of teams, while Hu Tao really needs a lot of investment and a lot of investment in her teammates to make sure that they have their cooldowns, they have their bursts, all that type of stuff up at the same time. And although yes, we're putting teammates with the character, but that's what they are basically. You have to have the supports for the character, and you have to have them built for that character, and Alhaitham needs significantly less than Hu Tao. I do love these characters both the same. They both have Constellation 1, they both have R1, and I'm just gotta say Alhaitham has a slight advantage over Hu Tao, maybe a little bit bigger once we look into the bigger picture. But at the current moment, with the amount of time I've played with Alhaitham, but the amount of time I've played Hu Tao, and I can 100% say my time with Alhaitham is far below, and I mean far below under Hu Tao. You have no idea, because I played with Hu Tao and her team for the longest, and it's a breath of fresh air to be able to play with Alhaitham and feel the almost exact same experience of how I did when I first got Hu Tao. But nonetheless, I don't want this to sway anybody's opinion between getting Alhaitham or Hu Tao. If you liked one character before this video, you maybe should keep liking that character. But there are certain aspects and certain cons and certain pros that Alhaitham and Hu Tao have that need to be shown, because I see a lot of people getting upset with others over summoning, having Alhaitham when they see Hu Tao's coming around the corner. They're like, why would you do that? She's around the corner. Why would you summon for Alhaitham? So I just don't think it's really cool to do that. I want to just highlight, how good Alhaitham is, how good Hu Tao is. They're both relatively amazing. They both have their problems. It's just that Alhaitham has just a significant more advantage, a significant boost in what he can do because of his element, because of how he is, because of the teammates that are around him. Him not being burst reliant on his teammates as Hu Tao is. So yeah, there's a lot of different things that can go into account. I would like to further this discussion in the comments if you want to keep talking about it. This was really fun to think about. Seeing these comments in the comment section was fun. And other than that, that's pretty much it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. See you on the next one, and peace.